Welcome. Today's topic, the missing ingredient to more yeses. Okay. Look, we know that signing clients is the first step, right, to life or business transformation for our clients. Okay. And so with that in mind, we have to approach sales as a blessing, not only for you when you sign a new client, but even more importantly, a blessing for your client. Question, why does sales feel like a drudgery? Why? I will tell you that at the root of it all, if sales feels anything other than joyful, is the way you think about it. It's the way you think about sales. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a key ingredient to not only signing more clients, but experiencing joy as you do it. Hint, hint, do this and your sales calls will also be a joy and a blessing for your client. It will be a wonderful experience for them to jump on the call with you. Okay, you ready for this? This is good stuff. So today, so excited, we are focusing on the key ingredients to more yeses. Now, right out of the gate, get your paper and pen because I want to start with what I call the 3 C's of highly converting sales conversations. Okay, 3 C's. And by the way, I think you already a master at each of these, but we're gonna talk about one in particular, which tends to be a obstacle for far too many. Okay, the 3 C's of highly converting sales conversations. First, connect. You're masterful at that. God made women to naturally connect. We love to get to know someone, so that's easy. First of 3 C's on sales calls, connect. Second, communicate. Communicate. This is when we're not only going blah, 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 blah. It's a two-way discussion. So the most important aspect of the communicate, the second C of our 3 C's, is that we're asking great questions. And these questions are all about the other person. This isn't an opportunity for you to say, "Ooh, look at me." It's an opportunity for you to understand the other person. It's a dialogue. You're communicating. So you need to know the questions to ask, and not just those questions, but you need to be fully present and have a clean mind where you're not thinking, "Oh no," and we're going to get that in a second, or you're not like worried, "Oh my gosh, are they going to say yes or no," or whatever, but you are fully present. And so as they answer your questions that you've already chosen and intentionally and strategically identified, but when they say something, you're going to be present enough to inquire further about that. "Oh, what do you mean by that? Tell me more about that." Okay. That's all part of the second C of communication. And the third C is close. So it's connect, communicate, and close. Okay. Now, of those 3, tell me in the chat, which is the one you feel least confident with? The connect, the communicate, or the close? And the close is how you wrap it up and you pitch and you ask questions toward closing that sale, closing the client, right? So you might say, "I don't like the word close." Okay, pick a new word. But here's the deal. In my experience, it is that third C, the close, that I often hear women say, "I hate that part. I don't know what to say." Or, "I feel like my energy totally changes when the pitch comes because it's that uncomfortable for me." Or, "Oh gosh, I hate that part because I hate talking about price." Do any of those sound familiar to you? Okay. And if they do, listen, don't beat yourself up. That used to be me 1,000%. Okay. But I want to offer something for you to think about. What if that close portion of the conversation would be completely comfortable for you and for the prospect? Because look, when we've connected and when we've communicated, and part of the communication step, when you know my sales conversation protocol, it is not just asking questions, but it's also kind of bridging the gap and taking them and meeting them where they are and showing them how it's possible to get where they want to go through working with you. And so once you've done that, the connect and the communicate, I want you to think, the close doesn't have to feel in any way uncomfortable because, in fact, it's the next logical and natural step. Like, just pause for a minute and think about that. How could that be true? That no matter how you came into this live thinking about the close, that part of the conversation could actually be just as natural and easy and comfortable as what came before it. So here's a truth that I want you to really let soak in. And that is, what we think about something impacts how we experience that something. Okay, I want to say that again. What we think about something impacts how we experience that something. Okay, so when we're talking about sales conversations, and in particular this close portion, if we think, oh no, here it comes, or I hate this part, the way we think, what we think, will impact our experience as we're going through it. So that experience of, oh gosh, here comes the close, here comes the pitch, that experience will be full of anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. It'll feel horrible. And by the way, your experience in that regard, the nervousness, the lack of confidence, the anxiety, all of that will absolutely be felt, even if subconsciously, by the prospect, the person you're talking to. And we don't want that. Like, that's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good for anybody. But what if instead, because the way you think about it will impact how you and they experience it, what if instead you think, oh my gosh, awesome. Now I get to show this person I'm talking to how her biggest problem will be solved by working with me. Like, I can't wait to explain why getting results is done. It is simple. It is inevitable. Transformation is hers. I can't wait to explain it. Do you see how the perspective on the close would not only impact your experience, but hers as well? You see that? Okay. Now, if you are watching or listening right now and you're like, okay, that's cool. That's a great thought, but I just don't see it, right? Or maybe put another way, I don't feel excited to lay all of that out. How can I get over my nerves? Okay, now here comes the juice of everything I wanted to. Everything's been pointing to this, okay? I want to reveal the key to getting more yeses, okay? Which is another way of saying the key to maintaining that same level of confidence that you have when you ask great questions as when you pitch or explain your program or your offer. And here's the key. Write this down. Be the servant leader, not the salesperson. Okay. I never put it in these terms before, but that's what God revealed to me recently. Okay. Be the servant leader that you are when you connect, that you are when you communicate. Don't be somebody different. Don't go into sales mode as the salesperson on the close. Be the servant leader. Servant. It's not about you. Okay. So the good news about that is it's not about you. Okay. So you don't have to perform on the call. You don't have to follow any perfect script. And you don't have to do any one thing. You don't have to do anything specifically, okay? Like, you don't have to worry about the doing. Oh, I got to say this. I gotta, all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of you follow scripts and, I got to follow it to the letter. When you are too tied to a script, number one, it's probably not your voice. Number two, it probably doesn't even speak with specificity to their experience. So it really is just a bunch of words. And it's no fun when you're tied to something. You're not fully present. Your mind is not clean and open and hearing what she's even saying. Okay. So you don't have to do anything, but just be the servant leader. Does that make sense? Be the servant leader. Now, let's break down the servant and the leader, because I really want this to land. And I want this to be a day when you truly not only start thinking differently about sales, but you start experiencing it in a different way because your mind is focused on the right place. Okay. So servant leader, that's what you are throughout the call. So let's talk about servant. Again, it's not about you. It's about her. It's about having a clean mind. What do I mean by that? It is not thinking about woe is me, or am I doing this right? Or it's not about you. Your brain isn't worried about getting the sale. It's not a transaction. It's a relationship. Okay. You're being a servant leader. So your mind is totally clean. You're not desperate for a yes. You love it, of course, if you could help her, but you're not desperate for it. You're not nervous. You're not anxious. You're having a conversation. Okay. So your mind is clean. It is not filled with lies of the enemy. You are standing firm in confidence in who you are in him, you as the expert, you as the CEO, and here specifically, you as the servant leader. So your mind is clean so that you can explain things very simply and with the level of specificity so that she understands it. Okay. Because you know your best client so well. You know what she's thinking. You know what she's grappling with. Okay. And you've helped others, so you know how to talk about what she wants and explain how she's going to get there through your process, right? In a way that will make sense. The light bulbs will go off for her. And all because you're being that servant leader. Servant. Okay. You're serving her. And so your confidence, your belief in your process that it works, is so strong that she can borrow your belief when you say, this can be yours. You can get this problem solved using my process. It happens all the time. Okay. She's borrowing your belief because you're standing in confidence in who you are in Christ, and your mind is clean. I'm serving her. Okay. And so the fact here is, on the flip side, is if you're not confident in your expertise and in your process, trust me, she won't be. It's impossible. She can't be. Right? Does that make sense? That confidence that you have comes from certainty, right? You need to be certain in your expertise and your process so that she can begin to see the certainty and feel the certainty and start to trust you and know that, gosh, she does know what she's doing. She will show up for me. She can get me what she's saying she can get me. She can help me get over this problem and get it solved and experience life or business, whatever it is, in a different way. I can get what I want with this person through this program. Okay. So you have to be certain that your process gets results for your best clients. So too often we say, well, not everybody that comes into my program gets results. Well, we need to be focused on that best client, the one specifically for you and that offer, right? Every offer has its own best client. And in a nutshell, most generally, your best client is the person who's ready and willing to do the work. They have an urgent need. And so they're ready and willing to do the work, and they're going to follow your process. So they respect you. And they're ready. They're like, they've been praying for somebody like you. Okay. So you being certain is in absolute service to the prospect you're talking to. Okay. That's service in the servant leader person that you are on these calls. Let's talk about the leader aspect. And of course, that involves servanthood as well. And it's this. I need you to be 1,000% committed on this sales conversation to serving her, helping her experience a breakthrough of some kind on the call. Somebody pop in breakthrough right now in the chat. I need you to be engaged so that you hear me. Okay. So you're committed to serving her, because the end goal for you is not that she says yes and she signs a client, because some may not be ready. She may be ready next week, next month, next year. Okay. But what definitely has to happen is that you help her experience a breakthrough on that call. The way she's thinking, or, the way she's looking at something, her problem, your solution, that kind of thing. Okay. So part of the service there, in my opinion, is advocacy. You need to advocate for her, even when she doesn't or can't advocate for herself. I'm a lawyer. I love the word advocacy. It is so important. And it's absolutely what entrepreneurs do. And it's not talked about enough. Okay. Here's what I mean when I say you need to advocate for her. Let's say that you are a career coach and the person you're talking to absolutely hates her job. She's also going through a divorce. She's got a couple of kids. She's on overwhelm. Okay. She knows, and she's told you on the call that she needs to get out of her toxic job situation. Okay. So she knows deep down she needs help, and she's feeling like things are going well. She needs you on the call, right? But she's dealing with so much that fear is winning the day for her. Okay. It's winning the moment on this call. So what you may experience is a beautiful connection, a beautiful communication and dialogue until the close. Because here's what happens. While she would love to say yes, her fear that is overriding her thought process makes her, instead of saying yes, say this. Sounds great. Oh, I'd love to, but I can't afford it right now. Or a variation on that fear, it might come out in saying, sounds great, I'd love to, but I just don't know. I don't know how I'd find the time right now. Okay. Time and money. Those are the two most common objections. What do you say when you hear that now? Feel free to type it in the chat. And again, no judgment. Whatever you write, you're not the only one that thinks it or does it. Okay. When you hear, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, I don't have the money, or gosh, I wish I could, but I don't have the time. What do you say? You need to have an answer for that. Okay. Or a framework with which to answer it. And I'm going to go into that a little bit. So again, paper and pen out, ladies. Okay. Too often I hear you say, basically, okay, I understand that. Well, thank you so much. And reach out when it feels right. Like you basically end the call at the first utterance of, can't do it right now. Wait a minute. Please don't do that. May that no longer be your reaction and response. Okay. Because I want you to understand something. That is not in service to her. She may feel like, phew, got off the call. I almost said yes, but I don't know how I could have afforded it. And she feels like you let her off the hook by saying goodbye. And maybe you feel like you've let yourself off the hook because it was just uncomfortable. So you wanted to get off the call. Is this sounding familiar? This was me. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But listen, I want you to pull up 30,000 feet. And I want you to think about this. This person with whom you were just speaking clicked a link. Then she made an appointment. Then she put it on her calendar. And then she showed up. And then she engaged with you on this sales call. She's answered questions, right? Let me tell you something. Nobody would do that unless they really want to say yes. Just makes sense. So don't cower at that first objection. An objection shows interest. Somebody type that in the chat. An objection shows continued interest. If she weren't interested, she wouldn't be there in the first place, or she would have hung up on you. Okay? Have you ever hung up on somebody that was just so rude? I have. Or someone that you're really not interested in? I have. So because she's there, she's interested. So when she utters no money or no time, instead of ending the conversation, please serve her. And you do that by showing her her own brain, her own thoughts, her own decision making. Okay. And so it might sound like something like this. Hey, Susie, you know what? I hear that a lot and I understand completely. But if I may, I'm confused. Earlier, you told me that you had this toxic work environment and it was impacting you so much that you were actually beginning to experience physical symptoms, right? You said, and I'm looking at my notes, and you said, I know I need to get out of here for my well-being. And you rated the need to get out and get a change, a 10 out of 10. So if changing jobs is that important, not only financially, but personally, shouldn't that be a priority right now? And you be quiet and you let her process that. Don't rush her. Being quiet is one of the hardest things we have to learn in this area of mastering sales. But do you see how I was asking the question in a way that was absolutely empathetic? I was trying to understand. And the goal of it was to help her assess, is it really that bad? Do I really need out? Right? Was I lying then or lying now, kind of thing? And I don't want to say lie. We would never say that to her, but like, is she fooling herself now, or did she really not say what she meant then? Okay. So we engage with that. And you may also bring up other things like, well, listen, when you imagine the future in a life-giving job instead of a sucking job, right? A job that sucks the life out of you. You painted a very vivid picture of, and then use her words. This is why note-taking is so important on sales calls. You told me that when you were in a job where you felt respected and you didn't have to apologize for wanting to, take an afternoon off to watch your kids game or take time off when the kids were sick. You told me that life would be la, 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 and you're using her words. And then you ask, do you believe that future is possible? Right? And you be quiet. So the point being that she said, I'd love to, but I can't, whether it be money, time, or something else. But we don't end the conversation there, ladies. You go back to what you've already talked about. Feedback her own words so that you're clear and you help her be clear on what is really going on in her mind. Because she needs to see her decision-making process so that she can herself evaluate if, working with you is truly in her best interest. Like, is she thinking clearly? Maybe, given that situation I've just posited for you, she's on overwhelm. Job, family life, pressures, being a mom, soon to be single mom kind of thing, right? So the best, most in service thing you can do is to show her and think things through at a deeper level. Okay. You might also ask, well, listen, if things don't change, tell me where you will be 6 months from now in the summertime. What will life look like if you don't get help? And again, you be quiet and let her tell you. Okay. And then highlight what she just said, like point out the negative. And that's not being mean. And you're not trying to convince her of anything, including working with you. You're only, again, helping her to see the reality. Here's your choice. Keep going, status quo, the way things are going. Your health may deteriorate, mental and physical well-being. Or take a chance, because I'm telling you I can help you. And I am so confident of that. And I say it with conviction. You can hear it in my voice. And they borrow that belief. And you say to them, look, you have this, or you have the possibility that is absolutely a possibility for you. But you have to say yes to the change. And that, I'm telling you, is an absolute service to your best client on that sales call in that close portion of the conversation. Okay, now I hope that's useful. Again, what is the key to getting more yeses? It is being the servant leader. And we have Jesus Christ as our ultimate model. Was he a salesperson? I don't want to say that he was selling salvation. I think that demeans it. But certainly the way he served and led is exactly who I want you to be and who you are in Christ. Hallelujah. Can I get an amen on that? Even on sales calls, don't be a salesperson, especially if that word it produces a visceral reaction in you. And I know it has for many women. That's just, we've had such horrible experiences with slime balls, bullies, if you will. That's not you. So salesperson, no, you are a servant leader. And when you show the other person what's really going on in their own mind, and you show them, here's your options, A or B. Keep things the way they are, or take a chance, right? It's a beautiful thing. You are in absolute service to them. And your leadership is shown in the way you are talking about the transformation that is available to her when she takes that scary leap of faith. Okay? All right. Well, listen, this has been an absolute joy, as always, to be with you. I'd love to see your comments below. Like, did you have a breakthrough? What in particular, allowed for that breakthrough? And of course, if you have questions on sales, this is the place to put them, down below. All right. Thank you so much, sister. Love you so much. And I will see you next time.